Over here, on the far right side of our map, the map Metalopolis. Startail placing second in the GSL Team League. And there's a shot of him now, drinking
Pepsi.
Why don't we have any Pepsi?
I don't know. Now on to our blue player. We have from China, the Chinese hope. Can he do it? He is
We.Loner.Prime.
So these are cross spots. This again would be a situation where we might actually end up seeing Medic Marine against, or excuse me, I'm using StarCraft 1 terminology, just bio play, Medevac and Marauder Marine. Or we could see these guys go to Siege Tank Marine because they're both doable on this map.
Well, our viewers are gonna be more familiar with this map. As you know, this map is one of the most balanced map we have pre-GSL maps. You do see that 13 gas is going up for both players, so we might see a little bit of 1-1-1, or definitely not just pure Marines this round. At the start of the Terran play, it's going to be identical for like the first 4 minutes, and then we'll start to see what they pack into, just like earlier on. August decides to go for the really traditional MMM, and Loner also go for another traditional Terran build, which is Marines and Siege Tanks.
Looks like we got a pretty early scout here from our blue Terran, or excuse me, our red Terran, August. August going to slip in there, see what's going on. In this situation, we don't really get to see what the Terrans are going to do until they drive out the SCVs. It's similar to what happens in Protoss versus Terran, where they want to chrono boost out that Stalker. There's no need to try to, give anything away, especially not in Terran versus Terran. A matchup where there's so many different things you can do. I think out of all the mirror matchups, this is the one in StarCraft 1 and 2 where it had the most possibilities.
Loner drops down a factory, and so does August, in fact. So we might see, based on how many guesses that they're going to get, it seems like Loner is not getting his second guess yet, which is kind of weird, because then that means he's not going to go for a factory build. Since he's going for his gas late, you do see he is pumping up Marines, though. Gets a tech lab onto his Rexus.
Yeah, it looks like he might swap that off. Get Hellions, because he get double Hellions. He doesn't have that second gas, and we didn't get it right away. And then tech accordingly. So we'll see. Hellions are funny because I think anybody who played StarCraft 1, they're sort of programmed to think, don't get Hellions because those things are kind of like vultures. And, you don't necessarily see vultures used in every situation, only in Terran versus Terran. At least not until StarCraft 1 entered its late phase. In StarCraft 2, we initially didn't see Hellions used as much. Now all of a sudden people are saying, well, wait a minute. These things are pretty good. They can harass. They can do just all sorts of stuff. They're good against Marines. If my opponent gets anything in a line, it's going to be in trouble.
Getting Blue Flame. August is getting Blue Flame at the moment, so he has a starport coming up. We might see a Blue Flame drop.
Oh, it's going to be a Blue Flame drop.
All the SCVs, they are going to be screaming in pain. It's so hot!
I don't have any air conditioning in my SCV outfit.
Loner does spot that one. Helion that's coming up, so
interesting. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No, it's just a big. It's like it's just a big politeness battle. I'm like, no, you go ahead. He did actually opt to reveal the fact that he had Hellion. I think that's a bit odd. I think he should have sent his Marines down the ramp. August should have, and killed off that SCV, driven it out. You don't want to send your Hellion down there.
He's kind of supply blocker.
Yeah, he made a mistake there. Got the deep wet a little bit later.
Well, you do see that he's going for one Viking instead of going for a drop, so he's going to push with his race car and his Marines.
And I think what he's going to do is he's going to throw these Hellions in the back. He's going to put some pressure on the front with the Marines. And that should give him the opportunity to take out a ton of SCVs. At the same time, though, we have a Banshee headed towards August's base.
Uh-oh, I don't think Loner spotted that.
I don't think Loner's actually... Well, no, he's got a Viking. Here comes the drop. He knows the drop is coming, or he should. He can see it on his mini-map.
Here comes the Siege Tanks. Blue Flame Healers are gonna have to go for the mineral line instead of getting taken down by these Marines. You do see the Marines.
I don't know if he actually should have been using the Blue Flame Hellions to attack that, but you know what? Looks like he will barely win this battle. The question is, will the next siege tank get out in time to stop this?
August actually did much more damage to Loner than Loner did, because Loner lost 3/4 of his army over there, and August just lost the drop that he was already going to invest because he wasn't expecting to see the units that he brought up to come out alive. He took down Loner's siege tank, which was so important because Loner looks like he's going for a siege mode again. Gets a Raven up.
Yeah, getting a Raven is never really a bad idea in Terran versus Terran because, you know, the point defense drone is so strong, lets you dominate the air. You know what's funny? I didn't think that he was going to do that much damage with that drop. I was thinking it would have been better to run around with the Hellion.
Yeah.
The Hellions would actually just attack SCVs, but now I don't know because he killed so much of that kind of girthy army. Yeah.
But if I was, to be really honest, if I was him and if I had an angle too, I would have ran behind the mineral line to take down the SCVs instead, because that would do more damage to his economy than taking down his army.
Yeah, I agree.
Siege mode is almost up for both players though. The only difference, I guess, is that the air army that both players have. I played Terran for a while to learn the mechanics of Terran, and one of my Terran coaches actually taught me that air control is really important in Terran play.
That is absolutely true. No, you're dead on with that. Because, you know, with siege tanks being able to shoot farther than they can see, having a Viking that can spot for the siege tanks instead of having to burn 300, could have potentially been 300 minerals, burn that on a scan, because you're not getting that mule, that's huge. And of course, you know, throwing at mid-game Bansheean is actually very surprisingly effective as well, especially if you get in a situation where they're just not keeping an eye on it.
August is like microing his Viking right there, landing
this is just so...
going to fighter mode, and he's actually tricking Loner, but loses a Viking. He did try to keep his Viking alive as long as possible. Yeah,
that was actually kind of cute, watching the Vikings land and then drop, and then land and then drop. So, there's one small victory there for Loner.
Marine does spot the Vikings that are coming in, though. I think we're going to see a really long macro game at this point.
I think so. I think you're right.
They're going to build like this huge siege tank army, cut the map into half, and then move out later on, try to catch each other out of positions.
You know what you can do, that I do in these positions, is I actually take the gold right away and put siege tanks there, so that way they can't try to do any pushing towards my gold. Another thing you can do, you might see, is him push out and just control the location that's easiest to expand to. Because, you know, contains, I don't think that there's overbearing as they were in StarCraft 1 and Terran vs. Terran, but there's still definitely an option.
The Vikings do spot the semi-push that's coming from Loner at the moment. The problem right now is Loner is more strong in early and early mid-game play. I've seen his playing style a lot and seen a lot of his Chinese playing style. He's gonna do a semi-push right now, and if this works out, he's gonna be able to take this one. It's gonna depend on who has a better position.
You know what's weird is Loner, I think, got confused, thought he was being dropped, and now he's completely naked in his expansion. Now one of these siege tanks is in range. He should not be sending those Marines that close.
He doesn't have Vikings though. If he had Vikings instead of Medivacs, it might have been slightly more useful.
Well, now if he can just get in range of the orbital, well, that's going to be bad. That's going to be really bad because that's going to force Loner to react somehow. I don't know if he has enough units to deal with this.
There's a scan over there, but you do see that August doesn't have a good position right now. If he moves forward, those tanks that are up front is going to be able to take him. What he can actually do is send a few dummy units in and take the initial shot from the siege tanks while giving him enough time to siege up to counter the other siege tanks. But you do see Loner is keeping up the pressure right here. He is streaming in more tanks and more Marines.
Oh, very nice. August backs up at the last second. One tank will be in range, but the majority of the tanks are now able to hit the orbital. Now, yes, use this Viking, which is going to have to give the tanks vision superiority. Try to slowly push forward and ebb out this Terran push. But I don't know.
Loner really needs this. He needs to win this one to play the ace match, but his tank, he has to win this push right now. If he loses this, he's going to get counter-attack really fast. August is actually trying to drop siege tanks into range of his orbital command right now. You do see that the Marines are trying to take down the second refinery. Vikings are going to take down the medivac, which is going to be bad for Loner if he actually loses it. As you can see on the screen right now, he loses some of his medivacs. He's streaming in more medivacs though, but if I was him, I would kind of prefer to get Vikings. You do see he's going to come in with his Marines right now.
Here it is. He's sending the SCVs as well. Loner says it's now or never. Now, a lot of SCVs were killed. But it looks like he did manage to survive the push. Now, here's what's weird about situations like this. You look at this and you think, yeah, Loner's coming back. But then if you look at the unit counting station, he actually, the SCV number is pretty depressing. It's 31 SCVs for Loner, 51 SCVs for August.
What do you think about that? Why do you think Loner got caught out of position at the point of time? He lost his couple of tanks, which, you know, I said earlier, August can actually send some of his unit as dummy to tank the heat from the tank and let his own tank come in. But he lost his army pretty fast. Do you think if he had Vikings instead of medivacs, he would have done slightly better?
You think at the start, if Loner had Vikings? Mm-hmm. Yeah, he definitely would have done better because Vikings just would allow you to get that advantage and kind of push your opponent's siege tanks backwards. Vikings and tanks complement each other so well. But, you know, it was kind of an odd situation. Loner also shouldn't have just kind of gone all the way back into his main and sieged up. I think he should have gone back there and then scanned and come back because it's the kind of situation he shouldn't have been in. And now we have, once again, siege tanks with the Vikings and the Marines sieging up. I believe one is just barely in the range. This is bad news for Loner.
He does loses one though.
Now he could, if he wanted to, drop the main.
Here comes August.
Oh, very nice. Now he's got the point defense thrown up here.
Actually, zaps out all the shots coming from the Viking. You do see why Loner actually went for a Raven instead. Jumps inside to his base, sees the Marine and siege tanks over there. You do see the Marines are going to come in and try to get in range of all the buildings, but there is a tank inside Loner's base. Marines are actually doing really well.
Here it comes from the top. It looks like Loner's going to reclaim the bottom of the map, but what about his main? Actually, you know what? He might not even reclaim the bottom of the map because there was this impulsive siege that Loner made, which gave the Marines an opportunity to kind of dart in there and take it out. And this is bad. Meanwhile, we're going to drop over here inside the main base of August. But Loner has to GG out.
Uh-oh.
Oh, sad. Well, you know, I said you're going to get to interview Loner. That's not going to happen. So, sorry.
I'm making sad faces at faces right now.
She is. And I think that's too bad. I really like Loner. He actually eliminated me from tournaments. I competed in a tournament in China. Great esports scene out there in China. Really passionate fans and stuff. So, guys, don't stop supporting Loner. He's a great player. He's got a lot of talent. But there were a few small things he did in the way he handled that situation that I really feel like could have changed the whole way the game would have went. Sieging up in his main when he thought that push was coming. Like, yeah, that would have been great to stop the push, but the moment he got down there, there wasn't anything there anyways.
And then he couldn't move in front because he was already sieged, and if he unsieged, he would have gotten caught by August anyhow. So
yeah, exactly. And you know, if you get siege tanks at your where they're in range of your opponent's ramp, it's so bad. I mean, you're going to spend the whole game just trying to reclaim that. Meanwhile, you have SCVs repairing, and then when you do the SCV all in and you stop it, oh, you think you're ahead, but you're actually behind 20 SCVs. We're going to go to a break in just a minute here.
Guess who we have next?
No, I won't guess. You just tell me. Who do we have next?
We have Huck.
We have Huck.
Liquid Huck.
That's right. Our Canadian
foreign player. First foreign player.
So get ready for that. We're going to have interviews here from John, so enjoy those as well. For Kelly and Tasteless, this is the GSL.
And you couldn't help to fall in my place. Yeah.